activated.
Tell us more about the logic behind getting your goons to tell Jess Phillips that they wouldn't even rape her.
But I think it was evident that she was, because there seems to be a really hard edge underneath British politics now that didn't exist back when I was being very rude to Miss Phillips. The issue has been the injection of...
Okay, I'm just going to remind you. Okay, we just looked at this. Murder of Joe Cox by a white nationalist?
Yay.
That was June 2016. Okay. Yeah, it was there. It was there. Carl doesn't care because Carl was concerned about boobs in video games.
Foreign sectarian politics and the liberal principles that underpinned British political life no longer obtain. When I insulted Jess Phillips, and I was horrifically rude, and I'll probably apologise for that in a minute, it was against the background...
He was rude. He was rude. He wasn't rude. You solicited a very large number of people with your very large audience to tweet at Jess Phillips, "I wouldn't even rape you." That's not rude. You're specifically coordinating a harassment campaign against someone with images of the rape of the person in mind. Like that's what that's not in mind, but that's the image that is the focal point of the campaign. That's not rude. That's something else, Carl. Something else.
Of stable English political life, in which it was obvious to everyone involved that when she was calling me various names like misogynist or whatever, and I was insulting to...
And I was proving her wrong by getting a bunch of my chums to go tweet at her, "I wouldn't even rape you, Jess." Imagine that's your response. A British politician calls you a misogynist, and you're like, oh yeah? Well, I wouldn't even beat you and send you to the kitchen to make me a sandwich. Like, you know, like think, Carl, think.
Her. It was evident that it was only just going to be words. That's all it was ever going to be. And I don't think that's evident with what's happening now, and I'm really concerned about it. And I think that both myself and Jess have contributed to this atmosphere of political coarsening.
There are good people on both sides.
And it occurred to me in around 2022, after a conversation I had with Peter Hitchens on the subject, that actually maybe I should apologise to her, because he had pointed out that it doesn't matter whether she accepts it or not. Because one of the reasons I hadn't apologised yet is because I genuinely thought she would just throw it back in my face.
How, Carl, your beard is too grey to be just discovering. Hang on, wait, hang on. I remember, it echoes in my brain. I remember him talking about, like, making this, this is the thing he repeated. Leftist activists are of extremely low moral character. But he's just figuring out now, with the lines on his face of a 50-year-old, which he must be close to, actually, wouldn't he? You're just figuring out now that, yeah, you don't just apologize for the material benefit of doing so. You had to talk to Peter Hitchens to figure that out. Jesus Christ. These people.
But Peter pointed out that it doesn't matter if she does. What matters is that it's the right thing to do to unconditionally apologise. And I've personally been through a long period of growth and reflection. I've become a father many times over. I've
why would you phrase it that way? I've become a father many times over. My progeny are as many as the grains of sand on the beach of our toxic river.
Got myself a good education now, and I'm a business owner. And I look around now at the man I was then, and I think about the man I am now, and all of the responsibilities that I have, and the kind of social fabric we're living in, and I realise that, yes, I was contributing to this. So it is without any kind of reservation, I'd like to say that I am sorry to Jess Phillips, and I shouldn't have made such a rude and obviously offensive statement. And if she would like me to apologise in person, I'm more...
Okay. You know what? That's good. That's good, actually. That's good. You're so good, in fact, I'm going to top up my cider a little bit against my better judgment. That's good. That's fine. I'm actually... Okay. Obviously offensive statement. That gets a little bit more to it. And he's willing to apologize in person. That's good. That's good. That's actually positive. Is that cider in a 2-liter plastic bottle? Don't make me aware of it, okay? It's been a rough week.
I'm happy to do so. And I'm not going to explain, what, or make any kind of excuse for that. It was just wrong, and I shouldn't have done it. And I'd like to, frankly, present a better example to my sons as they grow older.
Okay, but here's the problem, Carl. Here's the problem. you took the opportunity to accuse her of also contributing to the exact same thing that is motivating you to make the apology, and so you're still trying to figure yourself as the better man in your statement of apology. You could have apologized to Jess Phillips first, in private, before this conversation. That probably would have been the way to go, actually, because now it looks like this is a stunt. Now it looks like, I don't know what it looks like exactly. I understand the Conservatives were trounced in the last election. Let's see. Damn, 412 seats versus 121. Absolutely obliterated. Brutal. I don't know what that means for Carl. He's never been a mainstream conservative, obviously. But I don't know. I don't know what's motivating this. This is weird. I mean, maybe it's sincere, but like, he went out of his way initially to point out that Jess Phillips is equally guilty, which is a way of padding out the severity of the acknowledgement of what you've done. So I don't. Yeah, exactly. He's not apologizing unequivocally. We'll see. I would like to see him apologize to her directly, preferably on video, and I would like to see if she's able to hold him to account a little bit, not accept something cheap, you know?
You had, and still have, a large influence online, particularly a lot of young people watched your videos on YouTube, going through that whole Gamergate scandal and, you know, anti-feminist content, and hundreds of thousands and millions of people watching this stuff. So you had a responsibility, I suppose, to those young viewers to be civil and to sort of show an example to them. Do you think you kind of let them down in a way?
Well, not really. In the same way that I was describing the stability of English political life, it was the same thing with online discourse. It was very inflammatory, but it was always understood to just be words. And this was not an aspect of British life. It was actually very controversial. And it was only in the most recent years where we've seen spikes in political violence. I myself was milkshaked on the campaign trail. Nigel Farage, various others have been milkshaked. And this
Carl, people in Labour have been shanked and shot. In her acceptance speech, she mentioned someone who was murdered about the time that you were streaming all this stuff. Actually, about the time when this campaign took place. Let's see. This is from 2016. That was from 2016. You were doing this when someone was murdered on the opposite side, and you were milkshaked. That's the best you got? You should bring up the fish. You got hit by a fish, too. Richard Spencer got punched. You got it easy, my friend.
Moves the political discourse into a dimension I think actually everyone should be very concerned about. Especially, I mean, if it's just party politics and that's happening, that's concerning. But when it becomes very deeply held, sincere sectarian convictions, like over the Israel-Palestine issue, I think this is where we really need cool heads to prevail. And now it becomes really imperative to set a good example for other people. I will be polite to Jess Phillips in future. I'm not going to be rude to her at all. And I do hope she accepts my apology in the spirit with which it's been presented.
Some of your fans would say, Carl, you're caving in to the media. This is what the left want to do. They want to hound you out until you apologize, to kind of cancel you, and you're simply surrendering to them. What do you make of that argument?
I think it's pretty obvious that
What is this? GB News. What is GB News? GB News is a British free-to-air opinion-oriented news, television, and radio station. Channels available. It has faced criticism several times for providing a platform to far-right figures without adequately challenging their rhetoric. Okay, so this is a media stunt. He didn't say sorry to Jess Phillips, because Jess Phillips would be able to use that to punish him if it was insincere, and she could demonstrate it was insincere. This is a safe space. This is a safe space for Carl Benjamin. That's what this is. This is a nice padded room with coloring books.
I haven't surrendered to media hounding. Otherwise, I would have done this years earlier, because I made this joke originally in 2016. So I think that that's not the issue on the table. And I think that it doesn't matter what they say or do. I think Pete Hitchens is right, that we should be the people who are setting the example. We should be the people who our audiences can look at and say,
No, we will say no to drugs. That's what we need to do.
That is a virtuous man that I'm watching. That is
a virtuous, drug-free man.
One who I actually can look up to and respect on his own terms.
Who wants to join me at the pub after?
Nobody has asked me to do this. This is something that I... to to the conclusion on my own because I think it's the right
Look, don't laugh at Carl, okay? He understands virtue. He's read Thucydides, okay? He will tell you this endlessly.
thing to do.
Some again would say that the left hate you. Jess Phillips is an enemy. There's a friend-enemy distinction. This has become a very popular, I suppose, meme amongst online.
I want people to know that you include some of your past speeches in this book and an appendix in the end, including your 2016 convention speech in Cleveland accepting the vice presidential nomination. I was in.
Oh, hey.
Oh.
How's
Hey.
it been?
How long's it been now? Like a year?
Yeah, about a year now. Hey, listen, I've been meaning to tell you this for a while, but I didn't want to dump it on you over text.
Okay.
I loved you more than anyone I ever loved, and I wish I tried harder to keep you before leaving, like I left everybody else. I hope everything's worked out for you. Oh, Greg, you shouldn't have told me like this. I know. I should have just told you over text instead of just blurting it out at the first party I saw you at. But no. I mean like this, as a sketch on your YouTube channel with you wearing a wig.
Oh, that's what you mean.
That's not how you should have told me. You know I don't even watch your channel.
Yeah.
You hoping I see
that's
this?
fair. I don't know why I do this.
It's because you're weak, Greg.
That's not what she would say.
Yeah! No shit, that's not what she would say! I am not her! I am you in a wig! Why are you
I don't
like
know.
this? Why are you
know.
like this? And post. Oh, hey.
Oh.
How's it been?
How long's it been now? Like a year?
Yeah, about a year now.
Every time I hit her up, when I get right, I promise that we gon' live it up. She made me beg for it till she gave it up. The same thing.
But what does he mean by that,
Time I
though?
said you the
I think this concludes the end of our weekend extravaganza. Have a good one.